All praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Bashem, Kakdash, Shalom, to the elect, to one third. We got an outbreak has been declared by WHO, Mpox outbreak, Monkeypox outbreak, and it's mutating. I think we're about to go into it right now, but I think it came out of Africa. So I'm excited about this. You know, hopefully we get another lockdown like I was saying in the other videos. So I'm on Fox 5 DC. I'm going to read what it says. It says Mpox declared a global health emergency today. What it is, where are the outbreaks, and what is being done. So I'm going to read this. The World Health Organization declared Wednesday that the increasing spread of Mpox in Africa is a global health emergency, warning the virus might ultimately spill across international borders, which is good. So it's going to spill, hopefully, it could spill into these other countries. The announcement by WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom, whatever, came after a meeting of the UN Health Agency Emergency Committee. The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention declared Mpox a public health emergency on the continent on Tuesday. Yeah, that's just this week. Well, what? Today is Wednesday, right? Yeah, today is Wednesday. That was yesterday. Okay. WHO said there have been more than 1,400 cases and 524 deaths in Africa this year, which already exceeded last year's figures. So far, more than 96% of all cases and deaths are in a single country, Congo, Central Africa. Scientists are concerned about the spread of a new version of the disease there that might be more easily transmitted among people. Here's a look at what we know about Mpox and what might be done to contain it. What is Mpox? Mpox, also known as monkeypox, was the first identified by scientists in 1958 when there were outbreaks of a pox-like disease in monkeys. Until recently, most human cases were seen in people in Central and West Africa who had close contact with infected animals. That's also where a lot of the tribes, Judah, southern tribes, come from, Western and Central Africa. In 2022, the virus was confirmed to spread via sex for the first time and triggered outbreaks in more than 70 countries across the world that had not previously reported Mpox. Mpox belongs to the same family of viruses as smallpox, but causes milder symptoms like fever, chills, and body aches. People with more serious cases can develop lesions on the face, hands, chest, and general area. Sound like herpes sound like herpes. What's happening in Africa that's causing all this concern? The number of cases have jumped dramatically last week. The Africa Center for Disease Control reported that Mpox has now been detected in at least 13 African countries, compared with the same period last year. The agency said cases are up 160% and deaths have increased by 19%. They're not saying the countries though. Why didn't they hopefully they put a list of countries in this article, but so far they haven't said anything. But they could be lying too, just so they can do a lockdown, which is good too. Either way, it's gonna be good for the men of the Lord. Earlier this year, scientists reported the emergency of a new form of Mpox in a Congolese mining town that can kill up to 10% of people and may spread more easily. Mutated virus. Unlike in previous Mpox outbreaks, where lesions were mostly seen on the chest, hands, and feet, the new form of Mpox caused milder symptoms and lesions on the genitals. That makes it harder to spot, meaning people might also sicken others without knowing they're infected. Now, I know that when people took that jab, that had supposedly AIDS, HIV, AIDS, and all types of STDs in the ingredients of the jab. that everybody took in what 2021, 2021, 2020, and this they talked about the mpox came out, made a resurgence in 2022 in this article. So something is fishy. Who said mpox? Who said mpox was recently identified for the first time in 4 East African countries? Okay, now they naming them: Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. Now some of these have Judites in them, but these are mostly ran by Ham. The listed countries. All of those outbreaks were linked to the epidemic in Congo. Now, Congo got a lot of Judites in it. Tedros said there was a concern for the further spread of the disease within Africa and beyond. In the Ivory Coast in southern Africa, health authorities have reported outbreaks of a different and less dangerous version of mpox that spread worldwide in 2020. What does an emergency declaration mean? Okay, whose emergency declaration is meant to spur donor agencies and countries into action, but the global response to previous declarations has been mixed. See, they don't like that. Africa Center for Disease Director General Dr. Jean Keisha said the agency's declaration of a public health emergency was meant to mobilize our institutions, our collective will, and our resources to act swiftly and decisively. He appealed to Africa's international partners for help, saying that the escalating caseload in Africa had largely been ignored. It's clear that current control strategies aren't working, and there is a clear need for more resources, said Michael Marks, a professor of medicine at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. If a global emergency declaration is the mechanism to unlock these things, then it is warranted, he said. Sound like they want to do another lockdown, and they didn't get what they wanted in the past with previous declarations from who. What's the difference about the current outbreak in Africa compared to 2022 epidemic? During a global outbreak of mpox in 2022, gay and bisexual men made up the vast majority of cases, and the virus was mostly spread through close contact, including sex. I think they said something too about that. When that shit was going on in California, and then it died down, you ain't hear no more about it. Those gays was going to the clinics and stuff. I think I kind of remember. Although some similar patterns have been seen in Africa, children under 15 now account for more than 70% of mpox cases and 85% of deaths in Congo. Damn. Ahead of his emergency meeting, Tedros said officials were dealing with several mpox outbreaks in various countries with different modes of transmission and different levels of risk. Stopping these outbreaks will require a tailored and comprehensive response, he said. Alright, so, say the Children's Congo director worried about the spread of mpox to the crowd, confidence for refugees. Not only there was 340,000 children crammed into tents, so they trying to save too many people together. That could possibly be the transmission for infectious disease expected clear, while children were so disproportionately hit by mpox. It's a play from the Most High. She said it might be because kids are more susceptible to the virus and social factors, overcrowding. How might mpox be stopped? In 2020, outbreak of mpox, dozens of countries were largely shut down with the use of vaccines and treatments in rich countries. Okay, so they said a lot of countries were shut down, on lockdown, while the West, particularly, I guess they mean like Europe, UK, maybe US, and they have vaccines. Like I said, they were going to that clinic out in California, those gays. In addition to convincing people to avoid risky behavior, but barely any vaccine or treatments have been available in Africa. See, Marks of the London School of Hygiene and immunization will likely help. See, immunization will likely help, including inoculating people against smallpox. So they try to bring the jab back out and related viruses. See, we need a large supply of vaccines. See, so that we can vaccinate populations most at risk. See, they want to get Jake. They want to get the northern and southern tribe. He said, adding that would mean sex workers. See, children and adults living in outbreak areas. See, this is a prelude to the lockdown. This is just what they saying that they want. Congo said it's in talks with donors about possible vaccine donations and has gotten some financial aid from Britain and the U.S. See, they trying to start that shit off in Africa. Then that's going to be a cascading effect, so they can lock everything back down. Who already released 1.45 million from its emergency fund to support the response to mpox in Africa, but said it needs an initial 15 million to fund that response. See, and the U.S. gonna print that money out of thin air. Okay, we already in debt. So yeah, they need a scapegoat so they can lock it down. There's always the so-called blacks. So they're gonna try to start with Africa, cause see, for a minute Africa wasn't getting that COVID shit. Most High was working around that and was hitting Europe and U.S. and Australia and Asia with the first pandemic, but now they trying to initiate everything in Africa, so then they could be like, oh yeah, ooh, lock the flights down, everything. So I read this article from Fox 5. It has been declared today, August 14th. Monkeypox, mpox is definitely a global health emergency. So I'm going to just read two scriptures real quick. I'm going to start at 2nd Esdras 15:49. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So the Most High is bringing out these more plagues and pestilence and diseases. He's not playing. I'm going to go to Ezekiel 7:15. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. So them boys out there running the streets, out in the field, military, and these militias and stuff, carrying guns, toting guns, they gonna be put to death in the field, out in the world. Okay, whatever they doing, put to death by the sword. Okay, and look, and it says, and he that is in the city. So these cities, okay, D.C., Baltimore, okay, Kinshasa in Congo, all these major cities, Lagos in Nigeria, all these major cities, all around the world, famine and pestilence. Famine, so no food. It's going to be hard or impossible to get food. And pestilence, okay, diseases and whatnot, Most High is going to be bringing out, shall devour him. So it's not going to be nowhere safe for nobody to run to, nowhere for people to hide or anything. So I'm excited about this. Like I said in the other video, we shall get some more lockdowns. I said outages and lockdowns. This is what we going for the remaining part of 2023. Like GMS said, and Apostles, Kabar, and Tahar said, hopefully this is the year of Jacob's trouble, and hopefully we get more outages and lockdowns. We need more. We need another lockdown. We need outages, specifically electrical outages, dealing either with telecommunications, that's the phone, internet, or power outages. I don't know what's going on down in Houston. I haven't been keeping up with that, but man, stuff is picking up, man. Stuff is picking up. So, and nobody has seen Joe. I think he's dead. I think Joe Biden is passed, but they can't, though technically Kamala right there, even though she technically can, she's second in command. If something happens to the president, vice president is in charge, but they know people are not going to buy it. So right now they're trying to ease her into everybody's consciousness, particularly using the black and Hispanic, but the Southern tribes approval, which they aren't approving, but they're trying to make it seem like the Southern tribe, Judah, is approving of Kamala, but they're not. So we shall see. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem, Rakak Radash. Shalom.